How many of you have seen people with really serious and meaningful faces pouring preposterous bullshit to large audiences? Let's take a look at a few of them, the big ones. Aristotle, about 2,500 years ago, he said that the stars and the planets are going around the Earth. And nobody challenged him because he was an authority and because he had this really serious face when he said that. For over 1,000 years. Then this guy, the German Emperor Wilhelm II. As the German engineers in 1880s were creating the first automobiles, he said, "I believe in the horse. Automobile is a passing fad. Now, I'm a driver, so this one hits the roof of my personal bullshitometer." Then there was this guy. About 8 years ago, he said that there are weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. And because he had this hardcore serious face when he said that, even some of his opponents fell for it. The other guy, this guy, on February the 10th of this year, he said, "I'm not stepping down from power." Well, we all know where he is now, but when he said that, he was wearing the only face he ever had, the serious one. And just a couple of days ago, the waiter at a cafe told me that my sandwich would be ready in 2 minutes. Well, guess what? It took him 20 minutes. And all of these are very frustrating experiences that were a very good lesson for me, that serious face does not yet mean smart. And imagine listening to a big-shot politician realizing that he's horribly wrong and deceptive and not being next to him with a baseball bat in your hands. That can be a very frustrating experience, and the tool to fight that unjustified seriousness can be satire. In fact, I believe that satire can do much, much bigger things, especially in countries like Armenia, in developing countries. Let's look at this country. Let's look at the economy. I don't know if you have tried importing sugar to Armenia recently. But if you try, you'll realize that you can't. Because there's only one guy, one big politician, oligarch, monopolist, member of parliament, father of 4 or 5 by now kids, who is the only person privileged to import sugar to this country. It's this guy. Here's the guy. You can't see him. And the reason you can't see his face, because I'm kind of scared to make a serious political statement about him. You can actually see a rare moment how intimidation works in action. This may be a rare thing for many of you, so make the most of it. Because, you know, people who do things like that get physically hurt sometimes. So I can't make a serious political statement about him, but what if I resort to satire? When a serious regular newspaper gets into trouble, into big trouble, when it calls an oligarch an asshole, a comedian gets away by impersonating that same oligarch monopolist as saying, "The rumors of me being an asshole are groundless. I have all the medical papers proving I'm not one." So this is one tool. Now, obviously, Armenia is not yet a perfect democracy. Political power is still a monopoly. Economic power is kind of a monopoly. Mass media is pretty much still a monopoly. I call it the 3 M's. Some people call it autocracy, authoritarian regime, but I prefer the 3 M's. I think it's much sexier to live in a country in a 3 M's phase rather than in an autocracy. So over the past couple of years, people have tried to challenge that monopoly. They tried to challenge political, economic power, and they got bloodshed. Now, bloodshed can be a very frustrating experience. And it can be a really frustrating experience, the kind of frustrating and limiting experience that can turn one into a user-friendly citizen. And sometimes it can turn one into a comedian, which happened to me. And I love it. I love it because it combines my favorite elements. Getting harsh message across, getting people to laugh, and not getting killed. The last one being of vital importance for me. So these 3, thanks to these 3, in the past couple of years, I was able I was able to mock this guy, to mock his monopoly, things he does, the way he does them. I was not able to call him a fool, but I was able to make a fool of him. Now, my favorite example of how political satire generates an actual change impact is the Serbian Revolution. I was so thrilled to see how the young Serbs were making lavish use of mockery in their cause to topple dictatorship. And for one thing, they would strap the doll of then president to a barrel and would whip it in public. And then would let the passers-by whip the doll. And at the end of the day, when the police would detain them, the country would laugh at the authorities for jailing kids for whipping a doll. So one joke led to another, and at the end of the day, the nation was in action, an action was catalyzed, and the dictatorship was overthrown. So what a joke did here, it got people to think about the problem, to get a big picture of the problem, and eventually it catalyzed an action. What I learned from here is when all the good guys in the country join in a common laugh at the bad guy or the bad guys, that's when change begins to come. And what does a young justice-loving citizen have to do if he wants to contribute to this process? He can resort to the ultimate weapon of bringing about a change in a society, mocking the evil. You know how they say that every time you mock the evil, like bad governance, bad policies, bad decision-making, somewhere up in the sky, a baby angel is born. A cute, chubby, blue-eyed baby angel. So let's just keep breeding those. And I just want to say that I believe in political satire. I believe in its power of change. I believe that in order to change something, first you have to get people to laugh at what needs to be changed. Thank you.